boy. Oh boy. Alright. Alright, well, let's read this horse shit. I laid out the truth as I saw it. Okay. That's fine for you to do that. You're allowed to see it that way, but other people just don't have to. I don't know why it is it's hard for you to believe that other people just don't have to see it your way. Like, I'm not telling you how to see it. I'm just telling you how I see it. There's a difference between you trying to make me believe something by passive aggressively taking swats at me as you claim to explain things thoroughly. And then there's me just saying you're allowed to think that if that's the hill you want to die on, fine. But I feel like I just can't believe this person because their words at face value mean fuck all to me. I cannot trust the word of mouth of a person who has openly threatened to behead me several times for no other reason other than the fact that I called him a whiny cunt for trying to take his problems out on the world around him. Like, forgive me for just not dropping to my knees and slobbering on the knob of Neon Penguin, pouring my heart into defending Neon Penguin. But the bitter irony is that the very people who accuse Neon Penguin of harassment are the ones who can't seem to let them go. You mean him go, bitch boy. And no, people only talk about him because he chooses to make himself a living hemorrhoid that flares up whenever he starts being ignored. A lot of people have gone years without even speaking of him until the point where he needs to throw himself at them repeatedly like a fucking drop bear to get everyone's fucking attention again. You don't get to do that. You don't get to pull revisionist history and then just take out lines of a story that are inconvenient for the narrative you'd like to present. It's either you are willing to criticize someone for their actions wholesale, or don't even bother saying it at all, because otherwise it just sounds like you're lying by omission. And that's just not a particularly great way to handle it, is just start redacting information that's otherwise unflattering to the story you'd like to present. Take a drink real quick. You need to be willing to hold every party accountable to the fullest extent that is necessary, instead of just turning a blind eye to one person's actions while highlighting another person's actions from nearly a decade prior, because the person who you're defending came to you with a sob story, essentially. You gotta pick one. You can't be all of the above. For over a year, Neon Penguin has gone out of their way to distance themselves, to stay quiet, to move on, yet these critics still cling to their name, his name, dragging it through the mud with accusations of views Neon Penguin hasn't held in ages. No, people are not accusing him of shit he hasn't done in ages. They're pointing out the fact that he's said this shit before, and people are skeptical as to whether or not he's changed his mind. People don't believe everything he says at face value because only a fucking moron does. You do not believe the words of a chronic liar at face value unless you're an idiot. You have to take everything within a grain of salt when it comes down to people you see on the damn internet. The fact that you immediately believe everything this little chode feeds you, without question, just because it's convenient for him, sounds more like you have a thing for him, but you'd rather not admit it. And if you do, that's okay. But I'd rather just have you come out and say it, instead of dancing around it whenever it's inconvenient to address. It's as if they're desperate to keep Neon Penguin in the spotlight for as some kind of monster. Not because it's true, but because it fuels their own relevance, their own need for attention. No, you dumb cunt. It's about the fact that if someone behaves like a total piece of shit to another person, that reputation they've established in that person's mind is mud. And most people choose not to associate with someone who behaves in such a manner. The reason people even bring him up is because he goes up to other people who haven't spoken to him in quite some time, or spoken of him even in quite some time. And he just fucking screams at them as though he's walking to the end of a fucking pier and is shrieking at a boat that's leaving, hoping the boat turns around and gives them something. Or he throws a bottle of wine at the boat, trying to get the people's attention that are on board. That's what it feels like. It feels like a lot of the shit that he does because he feels like no one's listening to him unless he throws shit at them first. If he actually said anything worth listening to, he would be listened to, but nothing he says is worth a damn. Because all of it is just whiny, petty, nanny goat horse shit, where he tries to act like anyone around him that's critical of his bullshit behavior is a Nazi, or someone that's trying to take over everyone's mind. That's what people don't respect. That's what people don't fucking like. What breaks my heart most is watching Neon Penguin try so hard to be a better person, but in the end it didn't even matter. Oh, I'm sorry. An actual song that was better than this garbage, it flushed into my mind real quick. To grow beyond their past, only to be met with a wall of resentment. Well, yeah, people are gonna resent you. When you openly say that you want to adopt a child just to sexually exploit them, yeah, people are going to be disgusted by that. People are going to find that abhorrent. People are going to resent that and resent you for saying it, because people then suddenly develop a great deal of concern, wondering whether or not he would actually go through with it. Of course, people are going to resent that crap. Anyone with a brain does. Anyone with a brain will say, yeah, fuck this guy for saying that, because I don't trust this motherfucker as far as I can throw him, given some of the shit that he's written online and some of the shit that's come out of his mouth before. So yeah, people are going to resent an individual that behaves like that. It's more or less common human nature to resent someone who behaves in a way that's considered to be genuinely disgusting to the overarching zeitgeist we call the public. I don't know why I couldn't say the word public for a minute, but forgive me for that. They are neurodivergent, navigating a world that's already stacked against them, where every misstep is magnified, every intention twisted. No, you dumb fucking faggot. The fact is, he's an asshole. For no reason at all, other than the fact that he was dying for fucking attention, and this was how he behaved for years. This wasn't just 5 or 6 days worth of bad behavior and a sporadic fit of spurgery. No, this was it was 2 solid years of constant harassment, threats, and bullshit. And a lot of the people that he threatened were people that were minding their own fucking business who didn't even know who the fuck he was, because they happened to be friends with Prof or myself. So don't even start with that retarded shit of him being a victim. He sought out bullshit with people. You don't get to punch someone in the face and then cry when they hit you back. You started it in that situation. And even when people fucking ignore him, it doesn't mean anything, because he just does more shit to get their attention anyway. Society doesn't just misunderstand people like Neon Penguin. It punishes them relentlessly for traits they don't choose and can't change. No, here's the thing. Quit making it about being autistic, you piece of shit. Shut the fuck up about autism. At least a third of the people that have been beating his ass are also on spectrum themselves. And they see him using autism as a shield, as a disgusting fucking thing to do, because it's viewed as an insult to people who do carry themselves well, to people who do function relatively well in society, to people who understand how to conduct themselves, for people who took the time to learn how to control their fucking stims and how to control their moods when something bothers them profusely. What the fuck has he done besides use autism as a fucking excuse? There are some things you may be able to say, yeah, that might be autism, I understand that, I can understand why that would bother you. I can understand why it might be hard at times, but it's not that. It's not that. It's not just, I'm sorry, I mishandled things, I could have been better than that. No, it's basically, I have autism, I have autism, I have autism, I have autism, nothing I do is my fault, I'm autistic, I'm stupid, I don't know any better. And then he does it again the next week. That's not autism. That's just a babbling idiot that knows they can use autism as a fucking excuse, and you let him do it. And then you're trying to act like I'm an asshole for pointing it out. It's one thing to treat somebody with some level of accommodation when they make a mistake. However, it's another thing entirely when you coddle and swaddle a grown fucking adult and try to convince them that their dumb shit behavior is acceptable because you just tell them it's okay to be a whiny turd whenever they fuck up and don't learn. I'm not usually the tough love type, but sometimes tough love is the only way to help people understand that their dumb shit behavior will have a consequence. It's a cruel cycle. Neon Penguin strives to rise above, to carve out a quieter, kinder path, but the louder voices on here seem hell-bent on painting them as the villain, as if their growth threatens the narrative these critics profit from. No one's profiting, no one's benefiting. It's just the fact that when people leave him be and don't give a fuck what he says at a certain point, his only rebuttal is to look for more attention from the people he claims that he wants to avoid. That's the problem. That's the reason. Nothing more, nothing less. Stop making fucking excuses for him. It's exhausting to witness, and I can only imagine how heavy it must feel for Neon Penguin, knowing that no matter how much they try to change, to heal, to fade into the background, there's a chorus of people waiting to tear them down. Again, it's not tearing someone down if they walk up to you and try to bash you with a fucking hammer before you punch them in the face. You don't get to do that. You don't get to play victim when you antagonize. That's not how that works. It's either you want to not be involved so you don't get involved, or you know what you're doing and you're looking for the attention. You can't have it both fucking ways. I'm so sorry, Neon Penguin, that you're an annoying little fuck. Oh, I'm sorry, I just thought out loud. That you're forced to carry this weight, that your hated for something that as unchangeable as your neurodivergence. Oh, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up with autism. It's not the autism thing. It's the fact that he's a cunt. Shut the fuck up. Seriously, how many times are you going to use autism as a fucking crutch? He's retarded. He doesn't know any better. He just shot my son in the head. He's retarded. He doesn't know any better. He just raped someone's daughter. He's retarded. He doesn't know any better. He just murdered someone's cat. He's retarded. He doesn't know any better. He just burned down a town. He's retarded. He doesn't know any better. He just robbed a fucking bank. Is that going to be your excuse to every little piece of shit thing this little cocksucker does? He's retarded. He doesn't know any better. Yeah, he does. He does know better. If he didn't learn his lesson after the first 3 or 4 times, he shouldn't be here still. It's that simple. All you're doing is making fucking excuses. That's all it is. It's just a chorus of fucking excuse giving. He's retarded. He don't know no better. He literally just raped somebody. He's retarded. And that's the fucking argument you're gonna have. No matter what he fucking does. It's not a one-time fucking mistake that he made. This is a series of shit that he did for fucking years. So shut the fuck up about being neurodivergent as opposed to being neurotypical, because it's not relevant. It's not relevant. You're just being a dumb fuck feeding into his victimhood. You're feeding into the fucking victim complex because you're telling him what he wants to fucking hear. You're not telling him the fucking truth. You're telling him what he wants to hear. And when someone is fucking up constantly, doing bad shit to other people and getting negative attention for it and then crying about it, you need to tell them the truth, not what they want to fucking hear. Because the problem is, telling him what he wants to fucking hear is what got him in this damn situation in the first fucking place. There are two kinds of situations that bring this motherfucker up. You either have the parents that are you either have the negligent fucking parents that don't give a fuck, so they seek out validation and attention online, or you have the indulgent parents which overindulge their children and tell them nothing they can ever do is fucking wrong. You either got these guys that grow up like fucking Alan Lanza, or these guys that grow up like fucking Nick Bate. Like, whatever the case may be, whether you're growing up like Adam Lanza or whether you're growing up isolated like Elliot Rodger, the fact is this. A lot of this shit is just him doing awful things in the past, and then you're patting him on the ass and telling him that all of his actions are excusable. They're not. My past actions are not excusable. I admit to being an antagonistic asshole at times, and I own it. I fucking own it. When I want to laugh at goofy, stupid bullshit I see on the internet, I own that shit. I don't lie about it. I don't dance around saying it. I own it. But the difference is, when I'm antagonistic, it's usually because that antagonism is retaliation or retaliatory towards some sort of event that happened previously. It's not some bullshit that was cooked up on a busy Monday morning when I'm off work and I decide, you know what sounds good right now? Some drama. No, I don't do that shit. I laugh at dumb shit I see on the internet and share my opinions about some stupid shit I see on the internet. That has nothing at all to do with wanting it to happen. It just does. Christ, you're fucking stupid. That you're judged not for who you are, but who they want you to be. No, he's judged for how he acted. If he wants to move away from it, bully for him, I guess. But the fact is, people don't believe they can trust him. Skepticism is a natural part of critical thinking when it comes down to someone making a grandiose claim. It's a lonely road, and it's devastating to see you walk it with so little grace extended to you. People don't owe someone grace. If I walk up to someone and bitch slap them, I am not owed grace after having bitch slapped them. If I walk up to someone and threaten their family with murder because someone calls me a faggot online, they are not obligated to be my friend or to turn a blind eye to my behavior or to ignore my shitty actions to them just because I decide suddenly that my actions need to be forgotten or forgiven. That's not how that works. As for you, Gage, if you've got any more to throw my way, let's hear it. Go on. Tell me I'm a worthless nobody, that my dad's just some ghost who doesn't exist, or how my entire life's a pathetic disaster, because you're so sure you've got me all figured out, don't you? Well, I do figure that you have an unhealthy obsession with coddling a crazy little bastard who goes out of his way to threaten people with death and violence whenever he's made fun of or even criticized slightly. So yeah, I do think it's a little bit weird that you're sitting there fondling his fucking balls and telling him that every shitty thing he did is justified. If you want him to improve, fine. Allow him to seek self-improvement. That's admirable if he genuinely wants this. But I would also hope that you would understand that there's an expectation that improvement is going to happen in increments, if it happens at all. And skepticism is a natural response after having seen someone behave in a certain negative way for so long. And it's especially true when people that you know in your personal life also acted like this, not to the same degree, but they would make the same dumbass fucking mistakes over and over and over again constantly. And then they would find a way to constantly water down their fucking mistakes so that the people around them who thought they could do no wrong would just pat their ass and tell them that every dumbass thing they do was okay. So yeah, having seen people in my life behave like that, as well as seeing him behave like that with you just patting his ass or sucking his dick and telling him that every bad thing he does is justified or that his shitbag behavior is permissible, you would understand why I'm not exactly willing to believe that he is capable of change, given what we're working with here. Like you're the all-knowing master who's never wrong. No, it was banter and jokes, as well as me giving my honest concerns regarding a lot of this shit most likely being smoke and mirrors. I didn't realize that banter hurt your fucking feelings so bad that you needed to throw a tantrum over it and act as though me giving you banter is the same thing as me waving a gun in your face. So come on, keep it coming. What else do you got to tear me down with? Oh, where? The mean autistic man on the internet called me retarded for constantly using autism as an excuse for someone that admitted that he wanted to rape a kid, to be made fun of and criticized. Where? Like, I can't imagine being such a whiny little fucking pussy that your only response to everything is, he's autistic, it's not his fault. Yeah, it is his fault. If you're smart enough to operate a YouTube channel, if you're smart enough to start trying to cover up your actions, if you're smart enough to try to lie to everyone about shit you did previously, if you're smart enough to constantly try to cover your ass after the fact, you're smart enough to just not fucking do it at all. I shouldn't even have to put up with this shit. I shouldn't. I shouldn't have to sit here and argue with you about what is essentially a cut and dry thing. Start the comments, shall we? I hate how they act better than everyone else. Now, like they haven't done anything wrong, ever. So they put up with everyone else's faults on blast. No, the difference is, when I fuck up, I own my fuck ups. I take into account the fact that I fucked up and did some stupid shit in my history. And I apologized to the people who I fucked up and tried to shit on for no reason. I apologized to the people whose lines I fucking crossed with no proper justification. I apologized and never did it again. You faggot go out of your way to bitch and cry and say everyone else is an asshole because they point out shit that you did. That you did this for years. This wasn't like a one-time thing where you're pissed off with someone. You did this for almost 2 years straight. They act like they never did anything even remotely bad as a kid, and even if they never did, that doesn't give them the right to not let go of the past. Well, here's the thing: it's not a matter of holding the past against you. It's about the fact that some people people will remain skeptical of your ability to change because people like you rarely do. Change is an internal process that works internal to external, and it takes years in cases that are actually meaningful. As opposed to, I didn't do this yesterday, so that means I've changed. No, that's a step in the right direction, but it's a step. There are like 1,000 more miles to walk before people are ready to trust your ass. They're just projecting their own unhappiness onto you. No, it's just that he's an asshole and people don't much like his shitbag behavior. I explained it to you like 9 times. If they were truly happy and content, they wouldn't bother you at all. You're obviously occupying their thoughts without paying rent. Like, say fondling his balls without saying you're fondling his balls. You absolutely nailed it. I can deal with haters. No, you can't, you fucking faggot, because whenever someone looks at you, you cry about it. I don't give a damn about their dislikes. But when these pathetic obsessive freaks fixate on me and start harassing me nonstop, it's just infuriating. Then just block everyone involved and it's over. The end. Seriously, you're such a whiny dick. It's borderline fucking illegal and screams mental disorder. Coming from the nonce. Please tell me more about mental disorder, dipshit who was a nonce for a while. Because you can't cure being a nonce. You'll always be a nonce. It's just that you won't act on it as long as you have medication. Now, I'll give you the fact that it's an unchosen attraction. You're born with it. I can't follow you with what you're born with, but I will say that you have no right to call anyone mentally ill when you're literally born with something that makes you a threat to children or teenagers. Consistently. Like, you lose the right to complain and talk shit about people when you're literally born a mental defective. All I'm asking for is to be left alone. It's not like I'm begging for the world here. Again, if you wanted to be left alone, you wouldn't comment on anyone's shit, period, and leave everyone be. They act like I owe them my entire existence. No one acts like that at all. I've already dropped my views. I've even quit the internet. If these lunatics would just back the hell off, imagine a world where they call a damn ceasefire and we can all go our separate ways. No more of their vile, toxic bullshit. But no, this dangerous, screwed up world keeps targeting me, and having autism makes it 10 times harder to deal with their relentless, soul crushing crap. If I didn't have autism, maybe I'd get a damn break. I didn't realize that you having autism was always the source of everyone's problem and not your cunty behavior, you whiny faggot. But apparently that's why these lowlives are so obsessed. It would tear me down. God, I wish I never even knew these scumbags existed. Tell me more about using autism as an excuse, you whiny cunt. Seriously, you might as well just say every bad thing I go through is because of my autism and not because of my own shitty behavior and bad choices. Just say it. Just blame your autism for everything. It's what pieces of shit like you do. You sit there and say being neurodivergent is the source of all your problems. No. It may be the source of how you poorly socialize. It may be why it is you deal with bad shit in a bad way instead of trying to figure out where you went wrong. But at the end of the day, you still have all the power in the world to choose not to get involved in situations that are negative for you, but you choose to anyway. So don't even fucking start. You seem awfully hurt by internet banter. Maybe consider spending some time outdoors. Seriously, you act like me reserving my right to be skeptical is somehow an indictment of your very existence. It isn't. You're just being oversensitive, and it makes bantering with you that much more entertaining. Do I want you really to suffer? No. But I can't help but laugh when you get so offended by me just not slobbering on the knob of Neon Penguin. Are you seriously calling harassing a kid just banter? Well, are you a kid? Because I don't know that. And here's the thing, if you're going to talk shit and get hit, you're going to have to be able to fucking handle it. Okay, sport? If someone is responding to the way you talk shit about them when you try to drag all their mistakes into the open and hit them over the fucking head with it for no other reason other than the fact that they just don't believe someone else is changing, that's on you. Because you're the one that's looking for the fight. And just because someone's better at it than you are doesn't mean they're playing unfair. A person's not fighting dirty just because you suck at fighting. Are you that out of touch? No, I'm just not a pussy. There's a difference. Honestly, leave the internet. Your drama channels are nothing but toxicity on this platform. Oh, so the child groomers can stay and the pedophile advocates can say, but if I call someone that used to be a child grooming pedophile a piece of garbage, I need to leave. Fan-fucking-tastic idea, you retarded cunt. One day, some young girl will take her life because of people like you. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that someone that's called a nonce because they behave like a nonce is going to suddenly jump in front of a train instead of consider that maybe they need help and maybe they should not get involved in internet bullshit if all they're going to do is cry about it later. And you'll be the one facing the consequences. I can't imagine being such a whiny bitch that you gotta talk shit about other people, but then when they talk shit back, you cry about it. Seriously. Either grow a pair of balls or shut the fuck up. This shit is pitiful and it's just sad and pathetic in every way possible.